Good afternoon. My name is Christina Calloway, and I will be interviewing Roz Solomon of Body Balancing today. Good afternoon, Roz.
Hello, Christina. Hi. So good
How
to
are
meet you.
you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
You are so
How are you?
welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today and allowing me to interview you.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to meet you and to be able to have this interview. So thank you for inviting me.
You're most welcome. I would like to ask you, why did you decide to become a coach?
Well, it's quite a long story, and it was almost accidental. So, going back in my history as a teenager, I had eating disorders. And that led me on a path to actually researching and learning about health and nutrition. And I had a coach when I was a teenager to help me through my nutrition disorders and put me on path and on track to be able to eat so that I was enjoying food and eating correctly so that I wasn't gaining weight and I didn't have the issues with my body that I had been dealing with previously. And I just loved the whole research side of nutrition. And I never actually formally studied nutrition. And then many years later, I started going through menopausal changes, and that again sideswiped me and hit me um, and caused a whole variety of its own issues. And I ended up finding hypnosis. And I determined the amazing power of hypnosis in being able to transform the thoughts that we have and the way we express ourselves. But I didn't feel confident as a hypnotherapist from the training I received. And then many years later, I ended up training with Marissa Peer in RTT, which is rapid transformational therapy. And that was absolutely life changing for me. And I recently ended up wanting to learn how to put myself out there more because of all these changes with COVID, etc. And I got involved in a program thinking it was going to teach me about social media and marketing, which ended up being a coaching program. And I saw that this was a different tool that I could use with the hypnosis to give people a further ongoing platform where they could actually then take the issues and the transformation they'd received from hypnosis and really implement it in a ongoing supportive way. So that's how I've ended up in coaching.
Awesome. That is very interesting.
Thank you.
I'm curious, you mentioned the fact that you use hypnosis in your coaching to partner with your clients to assist them with their eating disorders. And you also mentioned how you stumbled upon a training during the pandemic. And
Right.
that is a very good segue into what I wanted to ask you next. And that was, and that is, how were you able to transition your coaching during the pandemic?
Well, the hypnosis clients that I'm working with are mostly menopausal women, although I have worked with a variety of different people from different fields, but I've really, from my own experience, had such an empathy of what these women go through because it can be a very untalked about and a very challenging time of life. And in fact, so many times it becomes more than just menopause because it's when relationships can break down. It's when women's bodies change so much that they don't actually recognize themselves. They don't have an appreciation of who they are because they gain weight, their hair thins, they end up with facial hair, they have mood swings, they're irritable, they're having hot flashes, they're having night sweats, there's disruption in their sleep. So all these different side effects are happening for them and they feel out of control. And so moving from just what I can help them with their hypnosis, and then giving them someone that they can talk to and that they can share with, and helping them and guiding them on their journey to be able to realize that although there are changes happening, it doesn't have to feel like it's an out of control experience, and that they actually are coming into the prime of their lives. And yes, it's a transition. I mean, birth is a transition, and it's not an easy thing. If that baby had the power to talk to you and tell you the struggle of what it's like coming through into the world, and what the change is like from being inside that womb and out there into these bright lights and this different environment, it would be probably like a similar situation. But babies don't have the words, and sometimes menopausal women don't really have the words other than, I hate the way that I'm feeling, and I hate the way that I'm looking, and I don't know what to do about it.
Right.
So,
How has your life changed since you began coaching and receiving coaching?
well, it's been like a 360 journey, because it's gone from, firstly, the hypnosis has helped me really get in touch with who I am and become so much more comfortable with myself, and learning to really love myself and not get down on myself about things that usually, as humans, we have a lot of negative self-talk, such that if our best friends said these words to us, we wouldn't have them around very long. But we do these things. We say things like, I'm stupid and I'm not capable of doing it. And so when you learn to transition and transform that self-talk, that negative self-talk, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And so for me, my personal growth has been just massive since going through hypnosis, training as a hypnotherapist, and then coming into coaching and becoming a coach. It's every day learning more and more about myself. And then the amazing difference that I make for people on the journey as well is just extraordinary. So that is, what could be better? Helping others, helping yourself.
Exactly. What is in the few minutes that we have left, what is the one thing you want to share with those who are listening?
Well, the first thing I would say is start becoming aware of your negative self-talk, because your mind responds to the words that you say and the pictures that you form in your mind. So start changing your image of yourself. In fact, I think one of the best exercises that people can do is to go and look at themselves in the mirror, really look into their eyes, and tell themselves that they love themselves, because so many people are so down on themselves. And I think that the important thing is for people to remember that there's always a solution. And sometimes they are so close to the problem that they cannot find their solution. So don't be afraid to go and ask somebody and find somebody who can coach you and help you to find your solution.
Go right ahead.
And I was going to say one more thing, that hypnosis is actually something I do over Zoom. So we call it Zoomnosis. So just to be aware, it's just as effective as if you were sitting in my chair here in my office, but I can do it over Zoom, and my coaching is done over Zoom as well. So
Very good. So you can also do your appointments virtually. Awesome. And with that being said, how might they find you? How can they get
well,
in touch?
as I said earlier, social media has never been my strength. So I am just going to give you an email address. People are welcome to email me, and I will be happy to respond and set up an appointment. And my email is body balancing biz. That's BODY balancing, BALANCING BIZ @gmail.com.
Very good. Roz's email address, once again, is bodybalancingbiz gmail.com.
You
Roz, it
got
has
it.
been a pleasure interviewing you, and
Thank
I
you.
look forward to learning more about your business. And I know that you're going to have lots of people and lots of women contacting you as it relates to going through menopause and finding those solutions. Reach out to Roz.
Thank you, Christina.
You are welcome.